What is poppin', y'all? Welcome back to another YouTube video, and today we're taking a look at another movie review. However, this is a Netflix movie, a Netflix film review, that released a couple of days ago. Today we're taking a look at the new movie called Spaceman. You might be being like, hey, that's an Adam Sandler movie. I'm not gonna watch it. I'm not a fan of Adam Sandler. I don't like his work in Grown Ups, Hubie Halloween, or any of his other films, because they're all the same. Adam Sandler just plays Adam Sandler. Well, I'm here to tell you, and Google's also here to tell you, that that is not the case for this movie. This is a movie where Adam Sandler actually proves his acting ability to be this other character, where he doesn't put on a silly voice, where he doesn't have this, super hot girlfriend, and it has a very real story, a very, heartbreaking story, and he's incredible at acting in this movie. So, without further ado, let's quickly hop over to Google to see what they have to say about this movie before we get into the opinions that really matter. So it is on Netflix, and it does have a 5.8 out of 10 and a 53% on Rotten Tomatoes. Jacob was raised by his grandparents in the Czech countryside after being abandoned as a young boy. He works as a scientist before trying to become the Czech Republic's first astronaut. So, this movie starts with our hero, Adam Sandler, being in space, trying to investigate this weird purple dust which has been plaguing the world's skies for the past 4 years. He is in a very quickly shitty-built ship trying to propel himself through space, and it is constantly breaking. The toilet is screeching, all the cameras are down, and he's slowly losing communication with Earth, but he's only got 48 days left until he's there, and it's a 6-month mission. So it's 3 months there, 3 months back, and then he's home free. However, he does have a wife at home who is having his child, and there is constant flashes of memories between them through this film, and there is constant sort of flicking over to her side of the story, because she wants to dump him. She doesn't want to be with him anymore. She wants to break up. She wants to separate. And she feels like this because she's spent the past 4 months alone with carrying his child. And she just doesn't want to be with him because he's never there and he doesn't ever care about her. And we see that with the flashbacks that we get from his memory. And the weirdest part of this movie appears when the spider shows up, which is forcing his memories to resurface and reoccur. So, that is what the spider's doing. The spider is trying to learn from this guy and see what he's doing and what he's like, because he was intrigued by his loneliness, and even more loneliness. So, as he was traversing through space for the past 4 months, he got incredibly lonely. He does have his sort of mental health operator to talk to, which is Rajesh Kufla from The Big Bang Theory, which, to be fair, I was shocked and I only realized it was him halfway through the movie. We then have the spider sort of showing himself, and we have him learn that he was the one that broke the cameras and listens to the toilet in the nighttime because he finds it soothing, but this is when he actually starts to talk to him. Yes, this is a giant talking spider, very similar to Aragog from Harry Potter, and he has a very soothing voice, I'll give it that. The spider has a really nice voice. But Adam Sandler is going through his past, through his stories, trying to fix his ship, and also trying to get to this purple dust, which is told to be the before, which is basically the stuff that is created at the beginning of the universe and where everything exists simultaneously. He tries to catch it and bring some home to Earth so it can be studied and researched, but no. He goes into it, and his ship starts to malfunction. The spider starts to die and leaves the ship so he doesn't kill the human when dying, because he has these little maggots living inside him, which is slowly eating away at his flesh. So he leaves the spaceship, and Adam Sandler goes after him, proving his change and having this sort of butterfly evolution, showing that he's not this selfish, self-centered character anymore, and he wants to be more caring, and he does care about the spider, and he doesn't want to be alone, and he now knows that from spending 3-4 months alone in space. So he hugs the spider in space, they have a final chat. The spider doesn't need a spacesuit, it just lives in space, and yeah, they fly away from the spaceship and go through the before and see everything through his life live there simultaneously, everything before his life and everything after, and he basically gets overwhelmed, the spider dies, and he gets picked up by another spaceship. That is a quick run through of the story. I didn't hit every mark or every plot point because, again, I do want you to go watch it. I do want you to go check it out and watch it for yourself. It is on Netflix. It is called Spaceman, and it is quite interesting. So the CGI is the first thing that I want to talk about with the spider because that is the biggest amount of CGI. It looked freaking cool. The spider was weird because it had lips. As you can see here, it has tiny little lips which it talks through. That is kind of ugly and freaky. I didn't like that. But the stuff about the spider is what I want to go into because at the start they try and sort of show this is like a figment of his imagination, and then they sort of hone in that he's real, and then it goes back to vaguely feeling like a figment of his imagination, how he can just disappear and reappear at will, and how he can phase through like walls in the ship. Because he just goes through a window and he can just disappear out of sight in an instant. So again, I do feel like this spider was just a part of his imagination and wasn't ever real because it can breathe in space, it can talk. And in one of the flashbacks, it does show the spider being there when he was a little kid. And it was talking to him then. So I do feel like this spider is a figment of his imagination and something that he brings up when he is lonely, and something to show him his flaws that he's not willing to sort of accept, but his subconscious is trying to show him. That is what I was sort of getting from this film. That is the sort of plot that I have for the spider and my sort of headcanon. I don't know if that's real or not. It is left a lot to the imagination. Something that I didn't like was there was a lot of his girlfriend. There was a lot of his girlfriend, and her story was so boring. She just kept repeating how she didn't want to be with him, and she kept repeating how she was pregnant, and all of her scenes, she was repeating herself to different people, her friend, her cousin, a random person on the street, a random person in the house that she went to for pregnant people. It was just repetitive and redundant. And by the end of the movie, she forgave him. And by the end of the movie, I genuinely thought he was going to die because he was just abandoned in space. But no, another ship managed to pick him up because that ship was so close behind him. I have no idea how that ship managed to see him in the vast, like, nothingness of space. And I don't know how that ship managed to even pick him up or catch up to him that quick. So, yeah, he managed to call his girlfriend from the other ship as well. And I want to know how the spider got on the ship because the spider was on the ship. There was no way onto the ship for the past 4 months, and the spider was researching Earth, flying around it for the past however knows how long. So it is a weird film. The concept is weird. It's a weird idea, and I'm going to be honest, it was quite interesting. It did keep you hooked with like how strange and obscure it was, but being strange and obscure doesn't make it good. It had a story of self-reflect, and I quite liked that, showing that you can have flaws and that you need to be nicer to people and how you should, like, if you don't see someone for, like, you can see someone but not actually see someone. And I kind of liked that little detail there, and I thought all that aspect of the film was good. I just thought that everything else was kind of boring. Like, the locations were limited, obviously, to the spaceship, which looked very boring, to the office, which his mental health officer was in, again, very boring, and then a random fucking house. The locations were very, very dull, and there wasn't anything exciting to them. The best we got was that one scene in space where there was actually in the before, and we saw all these cool sort of effects and sort of stars flying around and sort of sound waves flying around. It was all really cool, and that is pretty much where all the budget went. The rest of it was kind of boring. Seeing Adam Sandler float around in space for an hour and a half is more Adam Sandler floating around in space than I needed. But the message of the movie was excellent. I just think the execution was a little off and quite boring. Adam Sandler in this movie obviously suffered from a couple of mental health problems, with being, like, his entire upbringing was shown and how awful it was, but then also with him seeing a humanoid spider, which didn't die to the like cleaning agents that they had on the ship and hid away when that came in. So that also fed into the fact that maybe it's not real and maybe it isn't actually there. But the costumes were also garbage. It's just regular clothes, nothing too exciting. And the spacesuit was shit anyway. It didn't look exciting. It was a very boring, dull film, but had a good message. And it's another example of good message, shit execution. And that is how a lot of Netflix stuff has gone these days. We've had some absolute bangers from Netflix before, with obviously the Avatar and One Piece live actions, which we took a look at recently. But their movie side, something that they're supposed to be known for, that movie game is failing. Like this Netflix movie game, it's failing and it's failing hard. So I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 10. I feel like it's good. I'm glad I watched it. It had a nice message, but I'm not gonna watch it again. If there's nothing else to watch, it's there, and it's a time passer. So other than that, that's pretty much it from me. So I hope you all enjoyed. See you all next one. Have a nice day and goodbye. Stay home and stay safe. If you do want to watch more film reviews, though, there is a playlist on the YouTube channel where you can go and watch more playlists, more film reviews, and that's it. I'm done now. Bye.